Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to break down the full lineup for the update 5.4. So hit the subscribe button and let's get started. Well, yeah, you heard it right. This is surprising that we got the full lineup for the 5.4 banners way earlier than expected. Usually we don't see such a solid banners leak that early, but this time all the info comes from trusted source and the lineup looks quite convincing. So in this video I'll break down everything I know about the 5.4 banners, including Farina's rerun, the Inazuma Chronicled Wish, and some interesting details about these character choice. According to some trusted sources, here is what we are looking for at phase 1. We have Mizuki and Waraisli, which makes a lot of sense that we will talk about it later in this video. Moving into phase 2, things get a bit more interesting with Sigrid and Farina. At first glance, this lineup makes sense, but there are a few things that are worth discussing. So let's break it all down and see how likely this banner setup is. Mizuki was just announced, so seeing her in phase 1 lines up perfectly, with Hoyoverse usually structured back. Most new characters show up in the first half and it seems like the trend is continuing. Now the big question is Mizuki, that is whether she will be a standard banner character or not, or she will be a time limit character. There are speculation about this, but nothing has been confirmed yet. For now, we'll have to wait for this special program on the end of January to get a full confirmation. But if she's going to be a standard character, that could change how people decide to pull for her. Now, Waraisli getting a rerun in 5.4 is not that surprising because he haven't got any rerun yet, so yeah. And some trusted leaks mentioned this 2 weeks ago that he's going to get rerun. So this wasn't a random guess, it's in the discussion for a while. His rerun actually makes sense if we look at how Chronicled Wish has been handled. The rule of Chronicled Wish to include Shenhe mainly because a player on social media kept asking for her rerun. Waraisli is in similar situation, as you can see, guys. He haven't got any rerun yet, so he's in a similar situation. He's one of the few Fontanian characters that haven't got any rerun yet. So it's reasonable to expect him and the next update, the 5.4 update. Now, from a gameplay perspective, Waraisli is still a strong cryo DPS, and with the right buffs in Abyss, he could be a solid pickup for those who didn't grab him in his release. The second phase is where things get weird, not because Farina and Sigrid are bad picks, but because this is literally the exact same second phase lineup as version 4.7. Now Farina's run makes perfect sense because you know, guys, that she's synergized perfectly with Mavuika, making her one of the best suppers for pyro-based teams. And even with New Village, she's a great support and the best support for Hydro teams. Farina rerun was inevitable, and seeing her here isn't surprising, but here's where things get a little questionable. Let's be clear, Sigrid getting a rerun isn't strange at all. She's a great healer and has a solid utility, but the fact that we're getting this exact same banner lineup as 4.7, that's what seems odd. It's not unheard of for Hoyoverse to repeat character pairings, but it's definitely not normal to do it this soon. Could it be a coincidence? Sure, but given how many characters are waiting for rerun, it feels like an unusual decision. There is also a possibility that this isn't the final lineup, and Hoyoverse may still change things before the official announcement. But if this is what we're getting, I'd love to hear. What do you think? Sigrid and Farina together again is a good thing, or would you have preferred a different lineup? Now, Mizuki, Waraisli, and Farina all make perfect sense. Mizuki is the new character, Waraisli desperately needed a rerun, and Farina synergized with Mavuika makes her an obvious pick. But Sigewinne showing up alongside Farina again is what makes the lineup a bit strange. This lineup looks solid, but usually we get full banner confirmation in the end of January. It's best to wait and see if it's confirms or if any changes happen before the official live stream. Now, what makes this lineup even more interesting is that some leaks are saying that 5.4 will feature another chronicled wish. This time focusing on Inazuma. With an Inazuma-themed Chronicle Wish, the expectations are already set. Characters like Yaimiko, Ayaka, Yuimiya, Kukumi Ayato, and it have all been waiting for rerun. This could be the perfect time to bring them back. What makes this even more interesting is the timing for Raiden Shogun and Kazuha. By the time 5.4 arrives, it will have been 4 patches since their last rerun, putting them in a prime position for another appearance. But here is where things get complicated. However, seems to avoid putting their most popular characters into Chronicled Wish banners. If they follow the same logic they used with Yelan, then Raiden and Kazuha might not both make it into this rerun lineup. But introducing back-to-back Chronicled Wish, however, is effectively fast-tracking rerun for older regions, at least for Liyue in 5.3 and now Inazuma in 5.4. This means that a large portion of the characters from this region will finally get their reruns, reducing the backlog and giving more room for recent regions like Fontaine and Sumeru in future patches. If this pattern continues, Hoyoverse might be setting up a system where each major region gets its own dedicated Chronicled Wish, allowing them to focus regular banners on newer characters while still giving older characters the rerun. This approach could help reduce wait time, ensuring that newer regions don't get overshadowed by the ever-growing roster of the available units. When a Chronicled Wish was first introduced, it came with a clear rule. A character needed to have had 1 release and 2 reruns before becoming eligible. But now, that rule didn't last long. In 5.3, Shenhe appeared despite only having had 1 rerun, proving that Hoyoverse is willing to break their own system when it suits their plans. With that in mind, it's entirely possible that any Inazuma character could be included even if they don't strictly meet the original requirements. The fixability makes it much harder to predict the final lineup, but it also opens the door for more unexpected reruns. With the Liyue getting its Chronicled Wish in 5.3 and Inazuma following it in 5.4, it seems like that Sumeru will be the next in the lineup for this system. The big question is, when looking at the current pace, Hoyoverse could introduce a Sumeru's themed Chronicled Wish as early as version 6. However, there is also a strong possibility that it might happen before the update 6.0, possibly toward the end of Natlan cycle, perhaps around maybe 5.6 or 5.7. This will help clear out long-awaited Sumeru reruns before the focus fully shifted to Snezhnaya in version 6. So the 5.4 banners are looking solid. But the back-to-back Chronicle Wish and repeated character pairings makes things more unpredictable than expected. While Mizuki, Wriothesley and Farina rerun is a perfect plan from Hoyoverse, the Sigewinne repeat and Inazuma Chronicle Wish right after Liyue is kinda speeding up reruns to clear the backlog. What do you think? Does this lineup make sense, or would you have preferred a different choices? Let me know in the comment, and as always, like, subscribe and share for more updates. See you in the next video. Bye.